What is up, YouTube? And today we're going to be talking about why you guys might want to actually start saving your bookmarks and not actually pull for Kane, who is coming out in the next week. And that is because we are expected to have a custom triple RGB group summit. Now, Smilegate has said that they do plan to run this about twice a year. And as you guys can see, the last one actually ran 5 months ago, meaning that if they are keeping to the schedule, like within a month, we should get another one of these custom triple RGB group summons. Basically, the way how custom triple RGB group summons work is that you choose 3 RGB units that are not limited, not collab, and not released, too recently. And you can basically just pull on a single banner with a 33% chance, I believe. I think it's a little higher maybe, to pull for one of the 5-star units or their respective artifacts. And you'll get coins, and you can use those coins to actually buy the hero and the artifact as well as a sort of a pity system. So we did have one 5 months ago, and if we actually go back even further here, you're going to see that last year's fall custom triple RGB group summon was at the end of October, going into the end of November. And if we look at the calendar here, it's going to be, you guys can't see, but it is the middle of October as of this video's release. So most likely we'll have this triple banner run again within the next month, I'd say. And yeah, you guys should definitely be prepared because you can pull for basically 3 RGB units at the same time and their artifacts that you're lacking, right? If you're missing out on some very key units, such as like Lua, who's very strong for PvP, or other units as well, like Ran if you're a cleaver, then this is a great way to actually pull for those units, especially the units that don't have a side story that you can't pull for from the side story summons. However, there's also another reason why you guys should be very, very careful on how you spend your bookmarks. It's because of collabs. So we actually are expected to have a lot of collabs as well as limited units, especially in the fall. So around the time last year when the custom triple banner ran, you can actually see before the custom triple banner ran actually that we had the FMA or Fullmetal Alchemist collab featuring Edward Elric, Roy Mustang, and the free unit Riza, who is not really used too much. So basically, we do expect the FMA collab, Fullmetal Alchemist collab, to actually run again. And the Fullmetal Alchemist collab is probably one of the best collabs overall because Roy Mustang and Edward Elric are 2 of the best fire units in the game for both PvE and PvP. And fire typically is an element that is pretty weak in all aspects of the game. And yeah, because of that, you won't really have a lot of good fire units on your roster. And for Rift especially, right? If we do have this FMA collab run again, both of these units can be used in Rift, especially Roy, he's pretty decent there. So these units are basically must-pull units. They're good in PvE and PvP in the higher ranks and late game PvE as well. And they're just both very solid. You definitely want to make sure you pick up both of these units. So yeah, if this banner actually drops or this collab actually reruns, you definitely want to make sure you have enough saved. Like even if this custom triple RGB group summon actually wasn't expected to run at this time, I would definitely still recommend saving because we have the FMA collab running and both of these units are very, very strong. You definitely want to pick them up. Both of their artifacts are pretty decent as well. And yeah, they're just must-have units because yeah, there are not a lot of good fire units in the game for both PvE and PvP. And because these units are both good in both areas of content for PvE and PvP, definitely some units you want to have on your roster. Also, we had the Espa collab that ran with 4 units last year at this time. Now, last year they basically gave us a free unit with like the bookmark check-in system. We don't know if they'll do it again, but basically there were 4 units that released. I'd say 2 of these units are very commonly used. I'd say Winter used a lot in PvP and PvE. You can use her for Nightmare Spider Boss, right? She's very good there because of her fixed damage, Devour Aura Hawken, I believe it's pronounced. And she's also good in Guild Wars defense if you want to run her with like a Senya and a Shu, very good there as well. Karina, you guys probably know if you guys have been playing Arena or just any form of PvP content, she's super good, right? She's very good into units such as like ML Landy. She's good against units that have damage reduction because her S3 extra damage as well as her artifact bypasses like that damage reduction from like Tempest Cern S2, from Spirit Eye Celine's S2, from Sylvan Sage, etc. So she's very, very good in PvP. Still a top tier unit in my opinion. You'll see her all the time in Arena defense, all the time in Guild Wars defense, and very frequently in RTA. And she can also be used in PvE as well pretty decently. Giselle and also Ningnings, decent units I'd say. Giselle very good for cleavers. I think she's very underrated. She's very strong for cleavers. And Ningning is a very good barrier counter unit. Still usable, but not as commonly used, I'd say, as Karina and Winter. But overall, the Espa collab is definitely another collab that you want to save for, and you can see like these 3 ran back to back to back within basically one season, like one autumn season. So you definitely want to make sure you have a lot saved. We also could get new limiteds for episode 5, and maybe they'll even run some limiteds that they didn't run before that they usually ran at this time, including like Luna. They could also run something like DN, even like Cerise. So you have to be very, very careful with how you spend your bookmarks, because all of these crazy banners that are usually around like the end of fall into the beginning of winter, right? I'd say like the biggest seasons for summoning are like summer and fall. So definitely want to make sure you don't get baited by the future banners, because a ton of things coming out, and basically the 3 main events, right? FMA collab, both of these units you definitely want to get. Custom triple RGB group summon. Honestly, this is probably the least priority of the collabs, because these don't feature any collab limited units. But it is very tempting because you can choose basically 3 of the units that you want. But I would say don't get baited by this banner. I think the most important is going to be FMA, and then after that, probably close second is going to be the Espa collab, because Icarina is just so damn good, and her artifact is insane. Rocket Punch Gauntlet, you definitely want a Rocket Punch Gauntlet artifact maxed at plus 30. It just works on every single knife that scales with defense. You can put it on like SC Pillis, you can put it on Icarina. It's her best artifact by far. Like, I'd say Icarina is unplayable without her artifact at plus 30. Like, honestly, she needs it. And she's so good that you want to make sure you have that maxed out, because she's used very frequently. So yeah, there's a lot of things you have to actually prioritize and summon. So if we go to current times here, you can see that we have Kane's banner and then Cecilia's banner. So what I think will actually happen is, by the time Cecilia's banner ends, we'll probably have another RGB, and that will probably run until the end of Kane's banner. And I think November 2nd, we'll probably have another, that's the time we'll have another big patch. I'm pretty sure we'll have a collab or a triple banner, either being FMA collab or Espa collab. So you definitely want to prepare, because yeah, a ton of things you want to pull for. Also, usually a telltale sign is when they actually run Tamarin, who is probably one of the hottest banners for new players, right? Because she's so good in PvE. That usually means that they're baiting you to spend your bookmarks, and they usually have like another really, really good, banner afterwards, probably like collab or a rerun of a limited. So you have to be careful. Tamarin always signals that there's a big banner coming from previous times, if you actually look in the history. So if we actually look back 2 years ago, right, you're going to see Tamarin was ran. I'm not going to go through every single instance, but this is an example. Tamarin was ran, right? And then right after, what happened? We had 2 limiteds, right? 2 limiteds in Landy and Luna. At the time, Landy was super, super strong, must-pull unit for both PvE and PvP. And then also, if you look right after the 2 limiteds, which ran after Tamarin, right, we had a collab, right? So we had a new collab with the Slime collab in Rimuru and Milim. And both of these units were also very, very strong. Rimuru was like basically first pick pretty much all the time in PvP RTA in a lot of defense teams, and Milim was just so strong because she was a direct counter to Landy. So yeah, you can see that Tamarin banners usually signal stuff, and because the timing is just so good with like, the yearly basis on how they release things in the game, especially for collabs and reruns and the triple summon, you can kind of see that they're baiting with Tamarin here. They're baiting with the new unit, even though I think the new unit's not that great. He's only used for Rift, honestly, the new area of content, and honestly, you don't even need him to actually do well in it. I'm pretty sure Smell gets baiting with Tamarin, baiting with Kane here, and then boom, they're gonna hit us with like double collab, like limited rerun, triple summon, and everyone's gonna complain again. So I'm trying to warn you guys. I've seen this before. I've played the game long enough. I know for sure there are big banners coming. It's just super obvious to me now. So you definitely want to make sure you're careful. And the best time for Smilegate as a business to release those banners that everyone wants is when people have no bookmarks. If you look at the recent banners, right, we had Rowana and Crow, very good units. We had the ReZero collab, we had the Guilty Gear collab, we had Landy, right? So we had very, very good banners. There was actually like no breaks, right? We had like limited, Guilty Gear, collab, limited. We had one of the best RGB units in the game, Rowana. We had a new unit, Brieg, who's super good, or Brieg, sorry, who's super good for PvE, was a must pull for PvE. We had Midnight Gala Lilius, whose design looked amazing and everyone wanted because, yeah, she just looks great. We had the new RGB fire unit, Noggle, who looks super strong in PvP and is very strong. And then we have Tamarin, now we have new units. So you can kind of see everyone doesn't really have bookmarks. Even myself, I'm like super drained. So yeah, that means we have to start saving now until the start of November, because yeah, we have probably huge banners coming. So definitely while you're re-rolling your secret shop to get Abyssal Euphine, definitely want to save your bookmarks. And I would say, honestly, skip all of these banners, because for sure you want to save for what's coming. And honestly, even if we don't have, even if like the small chance where we don't have anything for the month of November and like beginning of December, which I can guarantee you that will not happen. There will definitely be a huge banner or like a few huge banners. Then you'll have a lot saved up for Christmas, which usually has a lot of seasonal banners as well. So yeah, I just wanted to warn you guys for the future because yeah, the game has a lot of trends in how they do summons and collabs, and a lot of you guys probably aren't aware of it. And even if you guys are, you guys probably didn't notice the specifics, but I've been looking at this the past like few like hours, well, not want to say hours, but looking at this recently, and I've been noticing that it's going to be big banners in the month of November. So definitely save your bookmarks, guys. And as always, if you guys want to see more videos like this, kind of showing you guys the roadmap for what is to come in the future, make sure you guys leave a like and also consider subscribing to the channel. And I will see you guys next video. Peace.